Hi, Marina.
Hi, Liat. Today's question for you is many people who want to join the Masters Academy are people who have already learned a thing or two in personal development and find it sometimes hard to see what else could you teach them. How could one know what and how to choose the right information that would make the change they expect to get in life in this bountiful era?
Thank you. Thank you for the question. It's really, really important. As you said, there's so much information these days, and you can really even lose yourself. And you ask yourself, okay, so I know so much, and I read so much, and I listened to so many podcasts and all of that. What else, can I learn? And I think the worst or the most painful thing in that is, people know so much but they don't feel the change. So they get even more hopeless than people that don't know and, that are not exposed to so much information. Because if you don't know and you think, okay, maybe once when I learn something, I'll know it and I will be able to shift my life. But if you know so much and you feel nothing has changed, then you think, whether it's not for you, whether it's not real, whether it's not working, something's wrong with you. So I think sometimes, this overflow of information can actually create more pain and suffering than it can create what we actually, create this information for. To help people, find hope and get tools and move forward. So I'll start by differentiating between two words, information and transformation. And the thing that I tell people, as you said, people are contacting us and they say, well, but I learned so much, and what else new can you teach me? And I know everything. And I never doubt people tell me that, although I never think I know everything, but they know a lot and they went through a lot, and I can understand that they paid a lot of money to different courses and workshops and healing sessions, and they feel stuck. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the difference between information and transformation. And what I always ask people when they tell me this is I ask them, okay, so you know all of that, but how much does it really impact your life? How much do you feel that it really changed and transformed and shifted your life? And if the answer is it's good to know, and I'm very happy that I know all of that, and it made me hopeful. That's good. That's a beginning. But if they're in this for a while and nothing else has changed other than the fact that they know a lot, there's only information, not transformation. And one of the things that I think that people confuse is knowing a lot and really embodiment and letting the shift happen from within. Because if you know a lot, and as I said before, and there's no shift, you actually feel that the gap is getting bigger and bigger. So one thing I can, start with giving a tool, we were talking about that, is every time I listen to some material, and it doesn't matter, if I know that or I heard that before, every time, that I spend my time, I spend my energy listening to something or, being in a lecture or something, I choose two things. One is what new can I get out of this? And sometimes it's not new information, but this new point of view or a little different point of view or a sentence that's really landed. And I always look for that. I don't come from a full mind saying, I know everything and you cannot, you can't bring anything new because I know all of that. When you come as, a full cup, you will never be filled. Nothing will never, really get in because you don't allow it. So I always, and it doesn't matter, how much I know, if I chose to invest the time and energy in that, I ask myself, what new can I get out of this? And the other thing, and that's part of the big difference between information and transformation, I ask myself, what can I do differently? Or what can I do new? Or what can I stop doing? This is something that is often overlooked, but sometimes you don't need to do more, but you need to stop doing something that I learned or, that I took out of this lecture or podcast or something that I consumed. Because if you just, again, get more and more information, you choose to do nothing from that. It doesn't change your perspective. It doesn't change your point of view. It doesn't change your emotional. It doesn't change your actions. It doesn't change your identity. It is just more and more information that will keep you more and more frustrated. And I have to say that if I, see people that I feel that are, in this rush of just getting more and more and learning more and more, I often tell them, stop. Like if someone is calling me and they say, I just signed up to something and it's for like 3, 4, 5, 6 months, then I tell them, okay, okay, and do you feel that you're getting something out of it? And they say, yes, but I want more. And I say, no, okay, finish that up first. And once you're done, and if you feel that you still need more, then you can, come back and join the academy because I think that we are even a little addicted to this overconsumption of information because it gives us the illusion that we are actually doing something. And if we don't, again, take this in and choose a certain transformation or a shift or a change out of what we just learned, it actually keeps us in the loop of being more and more addicted to more and more information, looking for the next thing that will not shift us for sure. I can assure you that. And we'll just, end up being more and more frustrated because we invested so much time, energy, and money in things that didn't really change our lives. And I even would say something that I didn't think to talk about this here in this episode, but it takes me there that sometimes we are even in the identity of the searcher, something that we can, ask ourselves if it's true to us. It's this, I always learning and I'm always in some sort of a container and I'm always learning new things. And it gives us, again, the illusion of moving forward, but not really changing everything because we have the identity of a learner, the identity of someone who's always in development, always in a growth process, which we are all. But there are times that you need to stop and really embody the things that you already learn and let them be part of you and not just, again, not just information, but transformation. And, even myself, as I learn a lot and I really like to learn more, but things that, I'm interested in. I always make sure that there are points in time that I just stop and just let myself digest everything that I consume and not just look for the next thing because that's addiction, that's not transformation. And one thing that again we often overlook is what we call embodiment. And embodiment is taking information. We most of us, especially if you're listening to podcasts, then you're probably, an intellect. You really like to learn new things. You enjoy that, and that's okay. Yeah, that's okay. I'm in the same boat. But there's a different, again, with the intellectual understanding that then from really letting it shift your life. And if it's only in the intellectual level and doesn't go down to the emotional, to the physical, and to the identity, you will just learn more and more and more, and nothing will change. And then you'll get, as you said, you'll get to another thing, and you'll ask, okay, what new can you teach me? And one of the things, by the way, that I tell people, I'm not necessarily going to teach you something new, but I'm going to help you embody everything that you need to really shift and change within you in order to create different results. As I said before, my question to really see if someone need something or not is whether or not the information that they already have created a change or not. And if the answer is yeah, I know all of it, but nothing changes, I feel stuck, then it's just information. It didn't shift anything in their vibration, anything in the frequency, and thus it didn't change anything in their reality. So what we have to do, and that's the main process of the Masters of Creation process that we go through with people, the 12-step model to creating your reality, is actually taking information into transformation and information into embodiment. And every level that we go through, we have a practical tool to really take this understanding from something that is intellectual to something that is really embodied within your system. Because if it won't change who you are, if it won't change how you feel, if it doesn't change what you do, then it will just leave you in the level of, yeah, I learned that, but it doesn't work. Okay. And again, we either think that it doesn't work and I need more information, or something is wrong with me and it's maybe working for other people, but it's not working for me. And then we can, feel like desperate that something is wrong with us and we cannot change our reality. So in order to create a transformation, and that's why I believe, and I can, tell this, say this about myself. I learned a lot. I have a full bookshelf full of books, and I love reading and I love, consuming information. But every major shift that I've done in my life was part of me being more involved in the change. And I'm going to say something even deeper about that. There's a law in reality that you can only receive what you put into the process. And if you kind of dabbing and, getting a little bit of this and a little bit of that, but never really dive in and never invest. And when I say invest is yes, is energy, it's time, and it's money. What you can receive back is limited. Because if you don't think that something is worth investing in, your time, your money, your energy, then the system within you doesn't really think that there's much to it. Think of, what do we spend money on? We spend money on things that we feel that will give us something significant back. Okay, and that depends on how much we invest in them. But we invest in them because we think they're necessary. And if you are in this over-consuming free information, and you don't feel it's important enough to invest in it, your time, your energy, and your money, and go deeper and allow this transformation to become part of you, what you can receive from over consuming free information is limited. And it's not necessarily limited because the information is limited. It's limited because the laws of life said that if you feel that it's only worth free, okay, then you won't be able to receive much more than free, and you can't let much more than free shift your energy. And that's really important to understand. And it's not that you cannot get a lot of listening and there's so much free stuff, but once your system decides it's important enough to invest in it, something is already being shifted within you just by the decision that I'm going to invest in this, because it means that you believe in yourself, that you believe in what you do, and that you believe that the change may be possible. And it's not, it doesn't happen when you don't invest. As I said, what can I take out of this, and how can I let this change, and what am I going to do differently from everything that I consume and everything that I listen to or read or hear. And at the same time, ask yourself, why are you not more invested in this? Is it because, you don't think it's worth it? You don't believe in yourself? You don't believe in that? Because that's part of the reason that you don't allow it to really create a transformation within you.
Wow. I don't even know where to start from responding to your beautiful answer to my question. But I think that when you're attentive and you have some kind of goal for the reason you listen to something, it makes it so much more different. It's also respectful. It's also, you come from a humble standpoint that we don't know everything, and we have to give ourselves a chance, give ourselves and the person we listen to a chance to receive or to listen or to to take in what they're telling us. And I loved what you said about the searcher, about people who go on searching for information more and more, consuming information. And really, what's important is to embody what we learn for us to. I don't have any other word except embody it in our in all our senses. And what I love what you said about the fact that when we listen to somebody, we put out energy, and this energy is reflected. So if I invest money or invest time or invest my attention, I also get all of these things, these beautiful things back. And I never thought of this before. So thank you so much for what you just said.
And I'll add to what you said. The you talked about the intention, which is really really important, and it's important, as you said, when you even listen to something. What is the intention that you have? What you're gonna take out of this? And it's the same, by the way, with investing money. I don't say that automatically when you put some money in something, it will shift you. It's really important if you put the intention of that it will shift you, because if you invest in something and your intention, consciously or unconsciously, is that I'm going to see whether or not you can help me, whether or not it can help me, then you're going to be in this whether or not. And it's going to be a little bit of this and a little bit of that, but it's not going to transform you. And what I try to do every time that I do choose to invest, as you said, money, energy, my time in something, is I put the intention that it will lead me to where I want, and make sure that I see, because these demons are part of us, that I am aware of those demons that are telling me that's not going to work, or you're going to invest in this, but it's going to be another failure. It's going to be another thing that you're going to feel sorry later that you put your money there, or your time and energy, and it didn't work. So having the intention, again, free or paid, or something that you just give your time and energy, um, put the intention that it will shift you. And just changing that, just shifting that, and thank you for bringing this, can really massively change a lot of our old habits of just, free listeners, or just, those searchers that are only consuming, but actually expecting nothing to happen. So that's really, really important. What the intention that you put, and what do you expect is going to happen or not happen out of what you just did.
Wow. So thank you so much for this beautiful episode, Liat.
Thank you, Marina.